Welcome to another edition of the Chariot Automotive Group podcast for the month of September as we lead into our best tire deal of the year in October and November with our three Stellantis stores in the Chariot Automotive Group: Academy, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Tipton, Button, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Kokomo, and Twin City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat. All will participate in a very big tire program, which Drew's going to tell you about in just a few moments. But we're here with Drew Bramer again, Service Director at Twin City. And Drew, welcome. Good to have you again. And first of all, I think you have not just a management, but a tech background. And so the first thing I want to tackle as folks think about their fall and winter driving is tell us about tires, basics from a tech standpoint. What should they know?
Yeah, well, glad to be back. Look forward to the upcoming event that we have here, the Mopar Buy 3 Get the Fourth for $1 program. Going to be running starting on Wednesday, October 1st, all the way through the end of November. So that is our big tire program for the year, and super excited about it. But, touching on tire life and what to expect out of your tires, really comes down to tread wear and the wear patterns and rubber compound and how it breaks down over the years. So what we always look at as a technician and during the inspection portion of it is where your tread depth really lies. A new tire whereabouts is a 10-30 seconds. Mid-life for us is about 4-30 seconds, and end of life would be a 2-30 seconds. Now, I know that I'm giving you some jargon that's more technical, but if we go back to, there's an old saying that most people would probably understand in this, and if it goes back to looking at just a penny, old Abe Lincoln on your penny. If you put him upside down into your tire tread, if you can see Abe's head, your tread is dead.
If you can see Abe's head, your tread is dead.
Yes. So, if you can go home, everybody's got a little penny around there. If you can throw that in between the tire treads on all four of your tires, if you've got coverage of Abe, then you're good to go.
That's what we're looking for, is coverage of Abe's head.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's something easy, right? Everybody can remember that.
Oh yeah. We could talk about 30 seconds and measurements all day long, but let's break it down for the common folk everywhere and not overdo the technical jargon here. So
I like that.
Abe is our measurement guide.
And when I don't have that coverage, Drew, my problem is going to be how quick I can stop, right, in an emergency.
Absolutely. So if we go back and just kind of look at those three measurements that I gave you, the 10, the 4, and the 2, a vehicle traveling, say, 60 miles an hour, a vehicle that's got those 4-30 seconds is going to stop roughly about 8 car lengths longer, or it'll take 8 car lengths longer to stop than what a vehicle with those 10-30 seconds of tread life had on it. And then, taking a little step further, the 2-30-second tire is about 10 car lengths of a distance longer than a vehicle with those 10-30 seconds or a new fresh set of tires. So, grand scheme of things, 10 car lengths is quite a bit of distance in today's world. So,
especially in the winter time.
Oh, absolutely. Then you just compound that on, you've got your road debris, your snow, your slush, and that just adds to the stopping factors in itself. So,
talk about dry rot, Drew. Some people, their car maybe sits too much, or talk about, spots on their tires that just haven't worn evenly, and maybe that can lead us into why rotating and balancing are so important.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things outside of just the tire measurements that we look at when we come in and are inspecting the tires. So tire wear, as far as feathering or cupping on the insides or outside edges of the tires, can lead to premature wear. That's easily corrected with tire rotations and alignments. That's a big key factor, and if we start to see some sort of wear on there, we're going to want to make sure that all the suspension components are measured properly and lined up how they should be. Tire rotations go a long way, and it used to be taking a step back into the years here, we used to say probably every other oil change is time to rotate your tires. But as we look at the life of vehicles and how the engine life has progressed, mileage intervals as to when we're actually changing oil have lengthened. So nowadays, when we're seeing anywhere between 5,000 to 7,000 or 8,000 miles on an oil change, realistically, you want to be rotating your tires during every oil change nowadays. We just don't see it as often as we used to, say, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Now, when they talk about, everyone's been pitched for tires around the city, and they say maybe good, better, best. What are we talking about there, so that folks have an idea of what they're buying and how they can choose what's best for them?
Yeah, so it really comes down to not all tires are created equal. And it depends on what you want to look for in your tires. Do you want a good ride quality? Do you want a smooth ride? Do you want a warranty that has a mileage warranty that's up to 100,000 miles on a tread life warranty? Or do you want one that, and those things kind of trade back and forth. So you can get one with a really long tread life warranty, but it has a harder compound on the tire so that tire will last longer. Whereas you look at some of these performance cars and comfort ride setups, the tire compound is actually softer. So it unfortunately wears faster, but it gives you that nice smooth ride that you'll always experience. So you got to find that happy medium, and that's how we always look at it in our tire program. Anytime that we pull one up, it's going to give us a higher option and a lower option for you, and then we just look to see what fits your lifestyle best.
Also, talk about the savings that you get when you do this buy three get one for $1. How Chrysler puts the emphasis to really save you money by doing it that way.
Yeah, there's no better time in the year. Throughout the year, regardless, we meet or beat anybody's tire prices. We price match on everything. So if you can find it somewhere throughout the year at the local Sam's Club, Walmart, or even Tire Barn, we can do the same pricing as what they're offering for those tires. But then we get into this buy three for $1 program. That's the best that's out there any time of the year. And it realistically, on average, you're saving about $300 on average for a tire. And it could go up even more. I priced a set the other day for a Gladiator that, surprising to me, $650 a tire. And that was the factory required tire for that vehicle. So to get one of those, and that would qualify, if it was one of the tires and it was a factory program tire, $650 in your pocket for $1, that's not too bad of a deal. So
the program's gone on for years, which I think it means it's been successful for customers and for dealers, in the sense that throughout the summer, I think you and I and the service advisors have occasionally pointed out to folks, so you know what, you're okay for this next month or two, but when we come up with our October deal, it's going to be time. And just would you say that Chrysler has kind of helped coach their customers to understand that fall is the right time of year to get them?
It absolutely is. And for our longtime Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram customers, they kind of know the stick there. This is the time of the year. One, we're heading into winter. We're heading into the bad road conditions. But two, it's the best pricing that's out there, and we've learned it, lived it, and look forward to it. So,
what do we do for customers when they buy their tires from us in terms of helping them on the rotation side after the sale?
Yeah, so for any time, not only through this program right now, but any time that you do purchase tires from us, you get a complimentary road hazard on the tires that you purchase. So first year is free replacement. If you unfortunately get a nail or anything like that that's road hazard related, free patching, repair work, or free tire replacement. Second year is a 50-50 complimentary proration on that, but oftentimes, we're helping out on any of those types of road hazard situations.
Help folks understand, Drew, throughout the year we patch a lot of tires, but when can we not patch them?
When we're looking at a tire that is in need of repair, if it's center of the tire, great. But if you're about ½ inch away from the sidewall, whether it be inboard or outboard, we're pretty much at a point where unfortunately we can't safely patch that tire, and it would require a replacement.
Tell them about the process we use to determine that. If someone comes in here and needs a tire but wants us to test it first, how do we test it to make sure that it's patchable or not?
Well, one, we're going to go through, determine where that puncture location is, figure out whether it's a nail. That's the most common thing. Could be a wrench, seen that a time or two, or even a railroad spike. And a railroad spike would be a great instance where it's probably a ½ inch puncture. That's something that realistically can't be repaired. I mean, there's too much structural damage to that tire, whether it's in the middle or on the outside. But if you've got something, a pen or a pencil type size hole, you can legitimately patch that safely. So we'll go through our process, make sure that it has punctured all the way through, that we do have a physical leak coming from that tire, break the tire down, inspect the inside of it. Sometimes we don't know that we've got a nail in our tire, and we do have tire lights that come on and let us know, but they sometimes don't come on quick enough, and those tires have been driven a little bit too long with too low of air pressure, and it kind of creates too much heat within the tire and breaks down the sidewall. So that has to be inspected. If we have no structural damage and we have a physical hole in a safe patchable location, then we'll go through and put one of our permanent patch repair kits in there, get everything back together and get you on the road.
I know I just experienced this recently myself, Drew, but talk about how we look at the rim too to make sure that it's not bent and is fitting the tire still properly.
Absolutely. So first off, visual inspection when we do have a vehicle come in with a leak. But then if there's nothing visually, we will put it on our tire balancer. One, to make sure that the tire is properly balanced, but also so that we can physically see if there is any imperfections that were created potentially from a road hazard concern, big pothole, anything that's out there on the road that you never know might pop up.
Not in Indiana. Come on.
Yeah, but our tire balancer, Hunter laser equipment will go through and pretty much let us know of any sort of imperfections, whether it's in that rim or the tire itself.
While we're here, let's touch on alignment. Let's say I just got a new set of tires. I think I've got them rotated and balanced. I'm good to go. And then I go out the next day and I hit a giant pothole. Can I mess up the alignment of my vehicle just like that?
Unfortunately, you absolutely can. It's a rarity, but in the world that we live in our magical areas that we have, again, it goes into the winter months. We see a lot of temperature changes. The roads develop a lot of potholes because of freezing temperatures and the water that creates cracks and divots, and our snow plows that knock big chunks out of the road. And so any of those road hazards that are out there, you hit one of those, and even if you did have your alignment performed, whether it was us or any other location, you had it performed yesterday and you go out and you hit a nice chuck hole or a curb, it will absolutely knock it out of place. They are suspension components, but they're all rubber inserts that kind of hold everything so that you don't have a rigid feel on your vehicle, but they do move. So, but again, anytime that you pull into our service drive, we got our Hunter Quick Check Alignment machine that as soon as you pull in our service drive, it does a free inspection. We know right away if you're in or out. So we always recommend during a tire, or if we are servicing your tires or replacing tires, that we do an alignment. Cost of tires nowadays, they're not cheap, nor is anything, and that just goes to further protect your investment. Make sure that you're getting your proper wear, and even if we did have to go down the road of a tire manufacturer defect, they happen occasionally. That manufacturer, whomever it may be, Pirelli, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, they all want to see that you do take care of and maintain those tires. So first things first, they want to see that you have had proper wheel alignments and tire rotations. So
in general, let's touch on record keeping. I get a new set of tires. I'm doing all the things you're telling me to do. Does it help for me to keep my tire warranty with the car and keep my records in the vehicle as close to where I can find them quickly?
It's always a great idea to keep everything that you can within your own possession, glove box, center console.
Yeah, center or rear console.
Yeah, anywhere in there. Now, anything that's performed with us, we have digital records of it. We keep them. Minimum of 7 years is what legally that we're required to maintain records, and we keep them longer than that. But if for whatever reason you're traveling and something happens, if you're take a vacation to Florida and we're not going to be able to be the ones to service you, and you end up at another Dodge, Jeep, Ram store, they won't have the records that we from what we performed for you. So
right.
It's always good to have them. Now, we're just a phone call away in that case. If you didn't have them, we would be able to provide them, but it would make everybody's life easier to kind of keep all that stuff tucked away.
No doubt. So to wrap up again, we are heading into, as we close out September here, we're heading into our best Mopar Tire Deal of the year. We usually offer it in the spring as well. It's kind of a spring and fall program, and it'll go from October 1st through November 30th, right, Drew? And it's our buy three, get the fourth for a buck deal. And who should they see that's our tire experts here in the store?
Our Mopar tire experts are Jordan Hartman and Travis White, so they will answer all your questions.
Okay, Drew Bramer, Service Director, Twin City Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, big part of the Chariot Automotive Group. And again, that's at all three Chariot Stellantis stores, Academy in Tipton, Button in Kokomo, Twin City in Lafayette. Drew, thanks so much for the time and insight.
Thank you.
We'll see you next month.